I don't know. I decided to see what this massage therapist could do, and then I kind of lost. It wasn't one of those. Right? It was again and again, and no one knows how many of the women did file suit because they just didn't want to be through this mud.
If I just believe I stand my innocence. I'm always going to stand on my innocence as opposed to saying because you said you're sorry. You said that, but what you had did to these women, you felt that you felt bad. That's what you had said in one breath.
Yeah.
And in your statement, and then once the 11 games and the $5 million, you turn around and say something totally different. Not saying Skip, that would wash it away from people's minds. But I'm a firm believer. The best apology is change behavior. So hopefully we never have a situation again where something like Deshaun Watson's name is attacked or something like this. But people would like to genuinely think that if you've done something, no matter how egregious or how minor, you say I'm sorry, they get a sense that you mean it. And not just because you're trying to avoid additional punishment or any type of punishment.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I think people look at Deshaun and they hear what he said yesterday. They're like, man, all he did was he did that in that first interview because the commissioner said no, there was no contrition. Sue Robinson said there was contrition or no remorse. I think remorse was the word that they used. And so he just said that to try to, to escape some of the punishment. And then, he's like, oh man, blah, blah, blah. And then he turns out to say that statement. I mean, he starts to does his press conference. And I'm like, and people just like, all of a sudden, bro, you just made it so much worse. I mean, it was already bad, but you made it situation, and it's hard to believe, Skip, you make a situation where it was 25 women were involved, you could make that worse, but he made it worse.
He did. So no matter what you out in Viewland think of the punishment, pro or con,
right,
good or bad, right or wrong,
right,
there's a whole nother form of punishment that starts operating now, and it's what Jared Bell refers to as the cloud. And the cloud, as you talk about, will hang over you for the rest of your career. Now, what I found covering sports low these many years is that the ultimate deodorant is to win big.
Right.
And if he goes and wins Cleveland its first ever Super Bowl, they didn't win an NFL championship, not a Super Bowl championship. Will it do away with most of this?
Every stadium you go in, they're gonna give you a chance. You're gonna see posters.
Yeah.
Nope, it ain't going away. It's not.
And to Jared's point, we're not just talking about his career, we're talking about going into his post-career.
Yeah.
It will still operate. It will still, the cloud will follow.
Well, I think the thing is, what's going to happen, he's going to be made so much money, it's not going to be an issue that, okay, I want to do TV, I want to do whatever. He'll be set. He got generational wealth now.
Oh, yes.
So he good. He's going to be in a position where he really won't need post-career income to carry on with his life. Because he's 26 now, let's just say he played another 15 years, he retires at 41, still has his whole life ahead of him.
Yeah.
He would have made so much money, it wouldn't even matter if TV or whatever else gives him another opportunity. He'll be sitting on $300 million, so he'll be straight. But
my final question is an on-the-field question. Will all of the above haunt him to the point that it will begin to distract him, especially in road games, in his performance on the field?
I don't think so.
Probably not, but in the end, it's going to make his job a little harder.
Yeah.
He's going to have to fight through this because he's going to hear a lot of stuff.
Make it hard on his family. If his family ever go to road games, it's going to make it hard on them. And the family don't want to hear that about a loved one saying all these things that people say.
Yeah.
But this is he has to wear this like a scarlet letter. That he had to wear that AIDS gift. He got to wear this one.
That's your brand.
We have a punishment decision, gentlemen, but in no way is this saga over for Deshaun Watson. Excellent points this morning. All right, moving on. Should Cowboy fans be concerned after Trayvon Diggs went viral? Stick around. We're going to dive into that when we come back.
In the age of remote work, the IT department keeps everyone in sync, which is why Dropbox works with the IT tools your teams are already using, like Better Cloud, Microsoft Azure, MoveBot, and hundreds more. So you can get on top of secure collaboration and stay there. Try Dropbox today.
Top 10 quarterback pass catcher duos, according to NFL.com. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, they find themselves cut in 7th. Dak threw a career-high 37 touchdowns a season ago, and of course, CeeDee became a Pro Bowler. Shannon, number 7. Is that ranking for Dak and CeeDee too high, too low, or just right?
Way too high, because I don't know what they've done last year to earn that ranking. I don't know what they've done since CD's been in the league for them to earn that ranking scale. Dak was up and down last year. CD started off well, and he didn't finish very well. Here's CD's numbers in the second half of the season. The last 8 games, he had 0 touchdowns. He reached 70 yards 1 time in the last 8 games. 1 catch in the playoff versus San Francisco. And you say you have them ranked in front of Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. Some of the guys that they're ranked in front of. First of all, I'm trying to figure out how Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson doesn't make the list when Jefferson has the most receiving yards in his first 3 years in NFL history. He had a 1,400 and followed up with 1,600, which was the second most behind Cooper Kupp.
They're called duos, and that means you have to include Kirk's Cousins.
Yes.
Right? And
Yeah.
so that
Let me ask you a question.
cancels
Let me ask you a question. Who threw Justin Jefferson those balls to make him the most prolific receiver in his first 2 years?
This list is saying if he had a better quarterback, he'd be number 1, right?
Hold on. I'm just looking at it like this. When I was looking at the list, I see.
Hey babe, you alright? What's going on? Long time. Yeah, it's been a bit of a boring day today, so I didn't do a video today for my YouTube, so I thought I'd give it a go. See me on there?
Hey babe, you alright? What's going on? Long time. Yeah, it's been a bit of a boring day today, so I didn't do a video today for my YouTube, so I thought I'd give it a go. Given 0 touchdowns. Okay, what kind of duo is that? 0 touchdowns. 1 game of 70 plus yards in the last 8. 1 catch in the playoffs. Okay, so what is the duo? Hell, if Batman and Robin can't save anybody, if they can't keep Gotham safe, what the hell good are they? So, over Kyle and D-Hop. So you think, CD, you said it yourself, that Dak and CD did not have the rapport that Dak and Amari had. And somehow, they're ranked over Jefferson and Cousins, D-Hop and Kyler, Herbert and Allen. Nah, no.
Hey, man, you're right. What's going on? I'm fine.
Okay, I am far more sold on CeeDee Lamb than you are.
In YouTube, so I thought I'd give it a go.
Lamb Jr. Also, you may be seeing some 88s this year, right between the eyes. This will be his breakout move. It's going to be all about 11 and 8 times 11, which is 88. Those are my 2 guys this year.
Oh, good. You deal with Dak. You deal with Zach and D. What about Zeke jersey? You got a Zeke jersey. You got a Dak jersey. What's up?
Where they are. They're mothballs, and the moths are eating both of them.
You're terrible.
Yeah.
You're terrible, man.
Okay, I'm a Cowboy fan. All right. So the point here is, I'm before I launch on this, I'm going to agree with you about Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford because I look at targets last year in the league. Cooper Kupp had 191 balls thrown in his direction.
Yes.
That's 22 more than anybody else in the league. And he was catching just about all of them.
Yes.
He set records that may never be broken.
Second most catches, second most yards.
Yeah. And they're all thrown by Matt Stafford. So if we're talking about dynamic,
Thank you.
if we're talking about Batman and Robin, and they go win it all.
And we saw what they did in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, skip on the biggest stage and the biggest moment.
They have to be number 1 with the bullet. I don't get it. Jamar Chase caught what was the stat about the most deep balls last year?
Jamar Chase.
7 deep receiving touchdowns. Okay, so I get that. And he did have a
Yes.
They're not better as a duo than these 2 in LA. Okay, now back to my guys. Look, I'm going to defend Dak and CeeDee because, to your point, to my point, they weirdly have no natural connection. Sometimes, we're about to talk in a few minutes about Baker and Odell.
Right.
I don't know what happened. They just didn't
It work.
I don't know why. Not on the same page. They connect off the field, but they don't connect on the field. I'm not sure that Dak and CD connect off the field either.
Right.
Just that it's not that they hate each other or have any issues. They just kind of go their separate ways.
Right.
And Dak loved Amari because Amari stopped on a dime for his routes.
Yeah.
And he loves his planets to be completely aligned, right in place. If you will stop on that dime, I will hit you with that dime on time.
Right.
I'm going to do 5-step, and the ball's going to be out of my hand, and you're going to catch the
Be where you're supposed to be, correct.
I'm still reading reports about Amari. I read one last night. They just couldn't trust him, especially on the road, right? That started in 2019 when he was quitting on the road.
Right.
And I read last night, one of the bigger reasons they got rid of him is they just couldn't trust his competitive motor in bigger games.
That's why the Raiders got rid of him.
Okay, that's why. That Jared paid the first-round pick for him because he was available, because John Gruden said, I don't want to coach that guy because I think you can't coach that guy. Well, so, okay, now it's CD's time, Deshaun, and it feels like, by all accounts, they are working on their rapport day and night in training camp.
Okay.
And it's going to be essential to how good they are on offense. But despite a lack of rapport last year, I'm going to defend. They ended up, it's body of work, right?
Yeah.
And we're mostly talking about regular season.
Yes.
We'll include the postseason through Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford. But in this case, my team led the whole NFL in points scored. Led the whole league. My team led the whole league in yards gained. In largest part, it wasn't because of Zeke, because Zeke was another 65 yards a game. It was Dak to CD, who led the Cowboys in targets with 120 last year. Oh, wait a second. By 16, it was CD led. 16 more targets than Amari got. So something was going right. And who led the team in catches, and who led the league in yards gained, receiving yards gained? Who led across the board, except for receiving touchdowns, to your point. I don't know what happened. They just lost contact with each other down the stretch. What happened to that down the stretch? He was horrible.
Yeah,
I can't defend him. I've been hard on him because he deserved for me to be hard on him.
Right.
Okay? But when I look at body,
Oh, congratulations.
And led the league in points,
Oh,
it all revolves around this connection right here.
Yeah, but also, but you look at Dog Schultz, had a career year.
Oh.
He might have had a down year, but he still had production. Cedric Wilson, the guy that you guys wanted back, he played really well. But since CeeDee Lamb has entered into the NFL, he has the third most drops by a wide receiver. We got to factor that in. And I'm saying, look, if you can say, I'm not sure that Dak Prescott is exponentially better than Kirk Cousins, no matter what you think about Cousins. All I'm saying is that he puts up numbers every single year. And Justin Jefferson over 3,000 yards in 2 years. That's the connection. You can say, well, Cousins isn't that good. All I know is Justin Jefferson has over 1,600 yards, and he was second in the league in receiving yards behind Cooper Kupp. Cousins did that. He threw the ball to it. How the hell, based on that, are they not in the top 10 right behind Kyler and D-Hop? We know the connection that they have. Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. Every third down, Herbert is looking for him. Hell, fourth down, because they go for more fourth down than anybody in the history of the game ever. But Skip, I can't get this. There's no way that some of these what these rankings are. And more we pocket Hercules, more we Drew put his list together. But nah, this list is way off.
Quick point of order: Dak Prescott owned Kirk Cousins when he played.
Skip is not a head-to-head battle. Skip.
He outplayed him every one of those games and just dominated.
Yes.
Okay. Because he's a little better than Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins is pretty good.
We do all-time duos. We're not saying, okay, Tom Brady might beat Peyton Manning head-to-head, but he doesn't have a better duo than with Marvin Harrison than Peyton, or Reggie Wayne and Peyton. That's what we're basing on. Jerry and Steve. Steve and Jerry. Okay, there might have been games that they've lost, but as a duo, as a quarterback receiver, a quarterback tight end duo, who's better? Look at the longevity, look at the productivity. I'm just looking at the duo, Skip. It's all about productivity. And CD and Dak does not have the productivity of the Jefferson. They don't have the productivity of the Herbert and Allen. They don't have the productivity as because Kyler and D-Hop was all pro when he got there.
Yeah, I got it. By the way, quick point of order on Tom Brady, who's ranked one slot higher at number 6, connecting with Mike Evans. The problem Brady has is he doesn't have the game suited for this list because he's spread the wealth.
Right.
That's how he wins championships because Chris Godwin had the most targets last year, and this is Tom Brady to Mike Evans.
Yeah.
The sixth.
But Mike Evans had the most touchdowns because he get the red zone. He throwing it to Mike.
Right. But this year it can be Brady to Russell Gage. It can be Brady to Leonard Fournette.
Right.
It's how he does it. It's just strictly what will you give me that I can keep taking.
Right.
If you give me Leonard Fournette on swing passes, I'll just keep swinging it to him and he'll keep running over the other left. Right. Okay. So Brady doesn't really qualify for this. I'm surprised he got as high as 6, and then it's hard to pick. Well, what about Julio Jones? It may be Brady to Julio. But the feeling is, I wouldn't have even had a problem if Dak CD had been 6th or 5th on this list. What? Because they earned it last year.
Yeah.
They earned it by leading the league in points in yards.
No, give that the team stats.
Hey, but in the end, remember the walk-off, just real quick, can we remind everybody, the walk-off pass at New England, was this not sweet? This ended the game in overtime at New England. This is the beginning and the end of my Dallas Cowboys as we knew and I knew and loved them last year, because on that play, Dak pulls his calf muscle, right? That was the play.
Yeah.
And he was never the same after that play.
Right.
Well, up to that point, that they built up such a margin on everybody. That's how they ended up leading the league. What did they get? Like 6-1, I believe they were 6-1 after this game. Well, they did a lot of their damage, as they often do, early on, right? They piled up stats that stood up over the duration of the season.
Yeah, I can't. There's no way. There's no way they should be that high.
Okay, well maybe this year they'll be ranked number 1 because they got shot, man. You are discounting number 88.
Dun, 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 dun.
Cross is cut out, and now Brighton can break. Crosser on the surge. Finds Welbeck. Hammer dives in, and it was a clumsy looking challenge. An easy decision, it seems. Taylor advised by VAR. The second contact took place on the line. Pointing Wilson. Baxter takes this time and sends it into the
have been able to
Hello, good evening everybody, welcome to the United Stand. Happy Sunday, happy weekend.
So we all have any mics, we'll just take a show of hands, please. We'll get through as many as we can. Anyone start?
Definitely was proper game, and yeah, we started really well. Scored a goal, we had the 2 chances more with Kevin, and
You're a team I'd love to see get relegated. I'm sorry if there are any fans, don't worry.
True.
Oh, fuck off.
To be with you on a Sunday night and not be talking about a Manchester United defeat. First time it's happened this season.
No, give it 24 hours. Actually, we still won't be beaten. It'll only pick up, won't it? But we will start off with Manchester United, and what a week it's been. Lots to talk about. I want to talk about Chelsea in the last week and a half of the window.
right now at TalkTalk, you could save big on 900 megabits per second future fiber with total home Wi-Fi. So stream big, game big, even shop for tuna big. Save big on future fiber 900 with total home Wi-Fi, just £49 a month. Search TalkTalk. TalkTalk for everyone. Want style? Love Munchkin. The Munchkin
big 3 games now. Now is the time. If you're going to go for a late bit of business, now is the time. But let's start off with Manchester United. A week ago, we were talking about bids for Rabiot and, who was it, Arnautovic?
Yeah.
We've now bought Casemiro, and we're bidding €100 million for Anthony, and have got a backup plan for €50 million Gakpo. What's going on at Manchester United, Alex? What can we expect to happen over the next few days, and where's the money come from?
I think it's going to be frenetic. I was told a week or so ago to expect Manchester United to bring in up to 5 players in the final couple of weeks of the window. In answer to where does the money come from, I think it's always been there. The Glazers just didn't want to spend it. And the reason they're spending it is because there's talk of a hostile takeover, which I think is really gathering momentum. Most Manchester United fans are behind that idea. There's going to be a big protest outside Old Trafford tomorrow. I think it will be the biggest protest against the ownership probably that has ever been staged. I think it's staged in the right way. I should just say that. We don't want to see repeats of the last time United fans protested before they played Liverpool, breaking into the stadium and getting the match postponed. We want the game to go ahead tomorrow night. But I don't think we should be fooled by this. It's not the Glazers suddenly deciding that they're going to fund the club and get for and challenging for trophies. This is money that has been generated by the football club. It's not the Glazers dipping into their own pocket. It's money that they were holding back, thinking that they would be able to get away with it, and that Manchester United could suddenly start competing with the likes of Tottenham and Arsenal without spending significant money. The reason they're spending now is partly because they've made such a dreadful start to the season. Senior players, as I understand it, have gone to the board directly and pleaded for them to back Ten Hag, and it's partly because they don't want to be forced into selling the football club.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, as Alex said, there is a protest tomorrow, 7 p.m. outside Old Trafford near the Trinity. I think it starts at 5:30 at the Tollgate Club and they march down at 7. And if you're going to be there or you want to be there, they're the details. And I do think it's really important, like Alex said, that United fans get on board with this. And I agree with Alex that the funds for this, a week ago, you're bidding for Rabiot and Arnautovic. A week later, £200 million appears. Coincidentally, Casemiro was never a target for Manchester United. Suddenly he is. Why? Because Sir Jim Ratcliffe and others suddenly would say, I will buy Manchester United and I'll buy it and I'll run it like a football club. I won't do it for profit. And the Glazers do what they did a year ago. We never should have let them off after the Super League. They were running, they were worried. They got to the summer, they did a Zoom call, they bought Jadon Sancho, it all died down and they got away. The difference for me this time, Alex, is that we have a viable. I've never been I've not been anti-protest. I think protests are fantastic, but I've always been a bit like, I don't think it'll work if the Glazers would have been here 17 years. What gets me excited this time and makes me very determined is that these are parasites. We all know that. They've drained the money, they've maintained the debt. They don't have interest in how the club runs. I think they are spending money because they are scared. It is blood money. They want to stay in charge of the football club. So they've gone, I know, these Man United fans are mugs. Let's spend £200 million. They'll be buying Casemiro shirts. They'll be buying Anthony shirts. But for me, what makes the big difference here is we have a viable option. When you've got an owner...
Is it a boy?
Not an owner yet, but when you've
I can't. Well, obviously, I can't tell if it's a boy or not. But if it's a boy or a girl, they are absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful baby. That is a great pick. He's almost, for some reason, I think it's a boy. He looks like he's got a smile on his face. Oh, that is so good. That is a gorgeous picture. Look at him all wrapped up. Oh. You should be very proud, and your daughter should be very proud. That's a gorgeous baby. Enjoy it while the baby's.
Very much a Manchester United fan. It's our problem to solve. I don't really care what Chelsea or Arsenal fans say. It's our problem to solve. We've got a viable option, and I think it needs to be pushed by everybody. And when you've been on the fence or what in the past, this is an opportunity, Alex. I really think it is.
Yeah, and you're right to mention the Super League because I think out of all the English clubs that got swept along with that idea, the Glazers are probably the owners who've shown the least contrition so far. There were promises of meeting fans groups and reinvesting in the stadium after that, trying to feed the supporters. None of that has really happened. And if you look at Arsenal, for example, I was outside the Emirates Stadium when their fans were protesting against the Kroenkes. And they were big protests, bigger than I expected, or whatever sent there by Talksport. And their response has been to back Mikel Arteta, back that process that he keeps telling Arsenal fans to trust. And you look at them now, they're top of the Premier League table. It's only 3 games in, but there's a plan there. There's no plan at Manchester United. Casemiro wasn't a plan. It doesn't take a genius scouting department to pick Casemiro. I could have done that. If you'd come to me and said, find me world-class central midfielder, I'd have pointed towards Casemiro. I'm not ahead of recruitment or even close to it. Tottenham, Daniel Levy, he got a lot of stick from Spurs fans after the Super League. He's brought in Antonio Conte. He's losing the first strings. He spent some money. The Glazers have done none of that. So I think you're right. The only way that this football club could really progress and get back to where they were and compete with the teams I just mentioned is under new ownership. And I don't think Manchester United fans, whatever happens between now and September the 1st, could be fooled by that. They can't lose sight.
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving what's going on social media. I'm loving what United fans are doing, coming together on this. And, you buy Casemiro, he's world class, and people are like, yeah, Glazers out. Like, even the tweets from Manchester United official account, it's Glazers out, because time's had enough. And you make a good point about Arsenal. Fantastic start to the season. For most teams, everybody just looks prepared on the ball and ready for it. Brighton's, Leeds, Man United are so undercooked, and that's because we haven't bothered to buy anybody over the last few weeks. We've lost the first 2 games of the season, and they think that throwing a £200 million now is going to get people back on board.
Get the most out of your Nintendo Switch with Nintendo Switch Online. Play online with your friends. Enjoy access to a vast catalogue of classic.
I'm going to do an hour now.
Brighton beat you because I watched them beat Manchester United.
I don't really like doing lives anymore.
Good players. Skamaka was a good signing. He's kept the core of the team from last year. Why are West Ham pointless?
Well, I think the problem is the idea of the club's failed. I feel like we've been found out. I feel like that comes from the top down. I know a lot of people with GSPL, like they've supplied the money to Moyes, and it's up to Moyes and what he wants to spend it on. And I think a few of our signings, quite frankly, they didn't panic for us 2 months ago. That Maxwell Corday could play up, but is he European level? I don't know.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling in, Max. And I tell you what, 0 points from 9 for West Ham, and they've had 2 games at home as well. Look at Brighton; they've played 2 games away, 7 points from 9, and Brighton have been to West Ham and Old Trafford. So the contrast there, you'd expect West Ham to be up there. They need to turn it around very, very quickly. Riley's also a West Ham fan. What do you want to say, Riley?
No, mate,
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up. It's just not good enough. About half the team we've got in a minute: Soucek, Antonio, Soufal, even Rice this season's been so under par. It's a joke since he's been made captain. Our players just not performing. Moyes, is he the right man? I personally think so. It's just not good at all, mate.
I wonder, Riley, if it's a bit like what Max was saying on the previous call. Do you think it's a shelf life problem? Do you think you can do anything in the next week and a half? Do you think you will just suddenly go on a run, or are you expecting a bad season for West Ham?
To be honest, mate, especially with us in the Conference League, if I was offered 12th or 13th now, I'd take it. To be honest, we're playing extra games twice a week, and then so we've got a week and a half to the window. But I can't see us signing anyone. When we do sign people, Moyes like sign that corner and Tanaka players we need, very much needed, and he still ain't made them start Premier League game for us. It's a joke, to be honest, especially when you see the way Antonio's playing and Fornals is playing. It's an absolute joke. I just like Moyes. I think he's got to go. I think I personally see him Brighton. I think Graham Potter would be the right man for us. And I think he'd change Brighton to West Ham. To be honest, I think I'd get Potter in.
Thanks, Riley. I tell you what, I just want to give a massive. I do it all the time, but Graham Potter. Villa made a mistake with Gerrard. Everton made a mistake with Lampard, and maybe if Moyes goes, maybe West Ham can exploit that mistake. Because Graham Potter, for me, I was running a Premier League club and I was outside the top 4, and I wasn't happy with how things were going. I'd be on. What? He's lost Cucurella and Basuma, talking about transfers, Cucurella and Basuma. And as I say, he's been to Old Trafford, deservedly won. He's been to West Ham, deservedly won. And they nearly beat Newcastle last week, who were fantastic today against Man City. That's just pure coaching. You look at that Brighton side and you don't go, oh, they've got 3 or 4 world-class players. Pure coaching. You're talking about transfers. Why, as a big club, not gone for Graham Potter? For me, pound for pound, he's arguably the best manager in the Premier League. Amazing. But what Riley was saying about West Ham there, very, very true. I'm a massive fan of Scamacca and came to the. I couldn't believe when West Ham got hold of him. I think we spoke about him a few weeks ago on the hit or miss, and I said I think he'll be a hit. He can't be a hit from the bench, and you can sign a player and they can end up being a flop because they don't get game time. And I think that the way West Ham play, they're not going to play with the front two. And Moyes, I'm listening to these West Ham fans, and they, has David Moyes come to the end of the line? Is the shelf life over? Is he been figured out? Because he's not going to play Anthony and Scamacca, and Anthony is a big part of his system. Ryan is a West Ham fan, also wants to talk about who West Ham needs to sign. Ryan, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to give a big shout out to a friend of mine who works for Talk Sport. His name is Russell. So I think we need to go and completely destroy the budget on a player that I'm a big fan of, a Brazilian by trade, but Gabriel Barbosa. I think we should spend as much as we can on the best striker that's available to buy. I'm not sold right now on Scamacca. I feel like the guys have been saying the same thing, the fans, which we are being caught out and our tactics are already on playing side because we always have the same team every game. It's a joke sometimes, how much we have a consistent team through the last 2 seasons, but this time around, every other team knows what we're going to go against. So I don't think it's looking good.
Thanks, Ryan. Just what Ryan was on about there, about tact.